Hey, please come on over. Together, let's go to bed. She hadn't spoken anything like that to me in 5 years. I sat down next to her carefully. She offered me a big smile wrapped in the warmth I hadn't felt in a long time when I looked directly into her face. For a brief while, I was genuinely pleased. I realized that I truly wanted to spend my entire life with her. I did consider that, but in the end, I was the one who caused our separation. I suppose I ought to talk about that first. I was 30 when it all started. I was simply another employee at an office. I worked hard and did my job when I got to work, but I wasn't getting promoted very quickly. Even an ordinary person like me once met by coincidence, and that someone was Jessica. Jessica and I met at work. We began going out to eat together because she was a high achiever at a client company, and eventually we began dating. Jessica, on the other hand, was focused, capable, driven, and obviously headed for success. When she was fully engaged in her task, she was stunning. Jessica kept working even after we got married and had a kid. In fact, she grew even more involved in her work and was promoted to manager after delivering birth. She didn't, however, disregard our house in any way. She did a good job of juggling motherhood and housework. But it hurt me to watch Jessica handle things so gracefully. I was unhappy to see her succeed at work and at home, earning more than me. I was merely jealous of Jessica, and I knew it. But I was unable to control my negative emotions, so I turned to drink as a way out. Maybe it would have been better if I'd been honest with Jessica about how I felt and my shortcomings, but I was too prideful to do that. Jessica, on the other hand, appeared confused and unsure of how to handle my heavy drinking. Jessica and I stopped talking to one another and drifted apart. We were divorced when Jessica and I were 35 years old, and our daughter Lily was 5 years old. Lily accompanied her mother. It made sense. A man like me, who turned to alcohol for solace, couldn't possibly be a parent. I could feel the house getting bigger and quieter after my wife and child left. After the divorce, Jessica accepted a job overseas that she had previously turned down and departed right away. Lily naturally accompanied her. I did not realize how much I had neglected my family for booze until I was left on my own and lonely. As a small atonement, I gave up alcohol. After that, all I had to do was work, so I gave it my all, but I didn't get much done. I continued to be an ordinary worker. When Jessica got back from her trip, she promised to let me visit Lily. All I could do was wait for our next meeting to happen. Would Jessica allow me to visit this man who had turned to booze, I wondered. I don't think she wants to see my face at all. Despite my knowledge that I should give up on Jessica, because I was the one who destroyed our family, my affections for her persisted even after the divorce. After the divorce, my daughter Lily called me out of the blue 5 years later. Even though I had been paying child support, we hadn't communicated or met. I hadn't heard her voice in the previous 5 years. Naturally, Lily's voice sounded older than my memory of her at 11. Furthermore, when she added, "There's someone I want you to meet," I was taken aback. Jessica doesn't seem to be attending the meeting that we had planned to have again. I was taken aback when Lily abruptly mentioned that she wanted me to meet someone after they had both returned from a trip overseas. It was all shocking to me. The surprises didn't stop there, though. When I got to the family restaurant where I was meant to meet Lily, the adult Lily was seated next to an unfamiliar man in his 30s. That's when I understood that man had to be the one she wanted me to meet. He's undoubtedly Jessica's new partner and her new father figure. He had a nice tan and appeared to be a kind man. I admit it, I still feel something for Jessica. I don't know what to do, and there's no way I can speak with Jessica's new partner. At the restaurant's entryway, I stood motionless. But both Lily and the man saw me. "Dad, come on over." Lily gave a hand motion. She must have believed that I was trying to find them. The man seated behind Lily gave me a small nod. I did not move. That's when I pivoted on my heel and took off. I heard Lily yelling, "Dad," from behind me, but I just hurried out of the restaurant without stopping. I know that sounds pitiful, but I simply couldn't bring myself to go see Jessica's partner right now. Jessica's new partner, though, moved very quickly. I was apprehended quickly. We went to a nearby park when Lily caught up, and she let out a loud sigh. "You're completely wrong, Dad. My father is not this man. Mom works with him. He's married and has 5 children." The fact that he wasn't Jessica's boyfriend astonished me more than the fact that he had 5 kids. Their house must be really energetic. "Hello, I'm Tom. Nice to meet you. We cultivate crops. Jessica has lent us land and farm equipment, which has been a huge assistance with our farm. I also occasionally teach her about farming. I told him I wanted to see my dad today, and he drove me here. The amount of knowledge was nearly too much for me to handle. What was Jessica's method of meeting someone in a farming community? Then Lily disclosed a startling truth. Mom is now lending a hand at the farm. She left her former position. Tom expanded on his remarks. After suffering a breakdown due to excessive labor during her foreign assignment, Jessica came back to the United States 3 years ago. Tom was someone Jessica's parents knew. When Jessica said she wanted to leave the corporate and city life behind, he had assisted her in finding a home in the country. In addition, he assisted her in finding employment on his farm so she could get money by giving her land and farm equipment. He was an ally to Jessica and Lily. I was ignorant of all of this. Perhaps she didn't want to depend on me even in times of need, in which case I would have assisted if she had told me. Lily firmly stated, "My mom is the person I wanted you to meet," as I was considering this. I heard Mom mention that she wanted to apologize to Dad while she was on the phone with Grandma. Please forgive me for what? I'm not sure, but she stated she wants to apologize, but is unsure of how to do so at this time. Mom hasn't been feeling well recently, and I believe she's worried about your relationship. Are you going to meet her? I was to blame for the divorce. Jessica doesn't need to apologize to me. In fact, this is ideal. I see Jessica once more. I promised Lily I would drop by Jessica and Lily's place shortly. My heart was pounding as we agreed on a meeting time and then said our goodbyes. I've been living a life of regret ever since the divorce. I hadn't even managed to apologize for starting the divorce back then when I was so drunk. I decided that when we met, I would give her a sincere apology. That's what my innermost decision was. The day I was supposed to go see Jessica and Lily's place came around fast. After boarding an express train and subsequently a local train, the view outside changed from bustling city life to peaceful rural areas in less than 60 minutes. It still shocked me that Jessica, a once vibrant career lady, was helping out on the country farm. Upon arriving at the specified address, I noticed a conventional home encircled by open spaces. Lily was the only one to meet me because she had informed me that Jessica wouldn't be back till the evening. All that remained now was to bide our time till Jessica returned. Greetings from our home to yours. Naturally, there were no cafes or coffee shops to pass the time. Jessica arrived, and Lily and I waited while we stared out at the enormous fields, mountains, and prairies. Lily abruptly collapsed into a blade of grass. "Hey, please come on over. Together, let's lie down." That was the first time Lily had said something similar to me in 5 years. I sat down next to her carefully. With a big smile on her face, she gave me a warm smile that I hadn't felt in a long time. It was a happy moment that surrounded me. I never imagined spending another day with Lily on this level. Is this how every day feels like today? I couldn't help but hope Lily and I could spend more days like this. That concept naturally occurred to me. Time seemed to fly by while Lily and I were unwinding, and then I heard Harry's voice call. I turned to face the voice as I sat up. Jessica was there, someone I hadn't seen in 5 years. She had on work clothes that I had never seen her wear before, and her skin was suntanned and makeup-free. She used to dress in more ornate ways, but she now appeared younger and healthier. Jessica came outside, and Lily went in. She seems to desire some alone time with us. "Why are you here?" Jessica inquired. Lily wanted to meet, so she came over. I told Jessica that Lily was coming with Tom instead of bringing up the bit about her wanting to apologize. Is that accurate? After all, She was eager to visit her father. However, did it surprise you that we reside in a rural area? To be honest, I was. I never thought you would be a farmer or live in the country. Jessica smiled for the first time that day at what I said. Me neither, but I grew weary of going to work every day. I only desired to see some vegetation. I see, but it's amazing that you've taken up farming as a job. Not really. I started out knowing nothing at all, and I have only lately been able to handle my own field. I still assist Tom and other farmers to pay my living expenses. She must have found living abroad more difficult than I had thought if she would take to such extreme measures to stay away from going back to her corporate job. When things at work got hard, I apologized for throwing all the parenting on you. Do the payments for child support suffice? Do I need to raise them? I don't mind, you know. No, it's all right. To be honest, I hadn't dealt with the child support. I considered putting money toward her future educational expenses. Are you still with the same company? Jessica might have recalled my struggles at work, how I got jealous of her, and how I ended up drinking. I am, indeed. After the divorce, I made an effort to immerse myself in my profession, but I still go to work every day like any other employee and do my job. That alone is incredible. That was the time I wanted to apologize to you. I didn't understand why you started drinking. I even believed you ought to give it more sometimes. However, having experienced my own breakdown at work, I could relate to the need to run away. When work gets tough, it gets terrible, and it feels like a part of life. I apologize for not supporting you, listening to you, or being there for you. At what Jessica had said, I shook my head. It's not that the work is difficult. It's that I felt horrible comparing myself to someone with your level of ability. I know it's pathetic. You were so cool and so productive that I felt bad for you. I regret not being able to tell you how I really felt, but my small pride got in the way. Jessica paid close attention to everything I said. So you had that feeling. I regret not listening to you more when we were first married. Perhaps I was too quick to write you off as weak because I was too preoccupied with myself. No, I was the one who neglected our family and started drinking. It was not at all your fault. I have always wanted to say I'm sorry. I sincerely apologize for what I did at the time. We talked about our sentiments and then enjoyed dinner together with Lily, using the veggies from Jessica's garden. There are benefits to country living, but there are also many drawbacks. But Jessica seemed to be enjoying all of the difficulties, as she grinned while describing her challenges with us over dinner. She had not the smallest sorrow about quitting her work. I clung to my job so much, but once I let go, it turned out not to be such a big deal after all, I replied. Lily, observing what I had said, proposed, Dad, why don't you come live here too? Jessica and I looked at each other shamefully and couldn't stop laughing. I started going to Lily and Jessica's house on the weekends after we were reunited. But one day, Jessica was helping a farmer named Tom, and I got a call from him telling me that Jessica had been hurt. I'd hastily left work and made my way to Jessica. It appeared like someone had broken into the residence. Luckily, the damage was limited to a push-related fracture. That it wasn't more serious was a relief. After prompt assistance from neighbors, the burglar was apprehended. When Jessica saw that I had left work early for her, she became upset. Sorry, it's not a big deal. Not at all. That's severe enough, getting broken in by a burglar and breaking a bone, I retorted. I spent some time helping Jessica with chores and taking care of Lily at her place using my paid leave. Even though Jessica's injury wasn't ideal, they had a great time spending the days together from dawn to night. Even though it was a lot more labor-intensive than I had anticipated, I gave farming a try at Jessica's property. Jessica and Lily teased me for being sore all over, but their smiles made it seem like a fortunate break. Lily started crying when it was time for me to go. Dad, please don't go. Lily begged me to stay with her, and I said, We'll be together starting next month. What? She questioned. Why are you coming to stay again? At her inquiry, I grinned. In fact, I've been considering moving back in with Mom and you. Is that acceptable? Lily's eyes shone, despite the fact that she had been crying minutes before. She was ecstatic and shouted, "Really?" As a matter of fact, I had resumed dating Jessica not too long ago. In addition, we had discussed moving back in together, and I had given notice to my employer that I would be leaving in 2 months. However, I requested to move my resignation ahead since I was worried about the safety of 2 women living alone after the burglary happened. I'll be back at the company only to hand things off. I'm going to be moving in with Jessica and Lily next month. In an effort to set up chances for local income, I have also been spending my weekends visiting other farmers and agricultural cooperatives. We were going to surprise Lily, but her tears had other ideas. It was no longer shocking, but Lily's happiness made it all worthwhile. Jessica and I got remarried 6 months later, and now the 3 of us live together as a family. There isn't a convenience shop close by, and our income isn't what it was when I worked for a corporation. Although it may seem inconvenient, we are content to relish the simplicity and have the mental room to do so. Sharing our everyday experiences and eating meals as a family is the most important thing. Knowing one another's shortcomings by now, Jessica and I have made the decision to be honest with each other about everything and work together to find answers. As a pair, we talk about our relationship frequently. Jessica is the more experienced farmer that I am studying from in the hopes of becoming as knowledgeable as she is. The days of being constrained by small-minded pride and feeling inadequate seem like a long time ago. I am resolved to value my family more than ever this time around because the ties that I once believed to be irreversibly severed have been restored.